Hi everyone, this is Rachel for Intercultural Communications. This is my Chapter 11 quote link. Wow, this chapter was pretty intense when you really think about how the internet and technology has pretty much taken over. So, anyway, I'm going to start with page 217 and talking about our wired connection, basically. So it says personal use of the internet has changed the way we communicate intra and interpersonally across the globe. Online blogging has mass appeal and encourages individual creativity. According to Nielsen, Japanese internet users are the most avid bloggers, posting more than 1 million blogs per month. This is more than any other country in the region. Japan is equally fascinated with Twitter. Adoption of Twitter accounts has jumped from less than 200,000 in 2009 to more than 10 million in 2010. In India, more than half of Twitter users, 57%, have signed up in the past year and they tweet at least once per day. Wow. I mean, think about how big China is. Or, not China, but India is. That's amazing. Like, tweeting goes globally. I mean, anybody can see it, and that many people, it just is mind blowing. And I think that why this is so important to intercultural communications class is because think about it. We're talking about tweets from India and tweets from Japan and tweets from China and Singapore and all over, and it's instant. It's instantaneous. Once it's there, and I can see it, you can see it. If I put something out there on the internet, they can see it. I mean, it's just amazing. And you know what's even more amazing is like these videos. I've had people comment on them from all over, and they're just silly YouTube videos. Well, they're not silly, they're for class, but I mean, it's crazy how quick we're found through the internet. So I think that is really really important to grasp that concept. I don't know if we could actually grasp it because it's so huge, but it's crazy to think about. So then I did find the pop culture topic pretty interesting just because pop culture changes all the time, but that wasn't what I was going to pick. I just wanted to throw that in there. So the other thing that really I found really kind of huge in this chapter, aside from the tweeting and the internet, was gadgets and how we use them to communicate, like I'm doing right now on my phone. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So, page 230, gadgets have transformed the way we communicate with each other. A tipping point has been passed in the competition between print and screen that has been underway since the beginning of broadcast television and now continues with video and other media. Netizens, excuse me if I pronounce that wrong. I can say it in my head. Increasingly avoid newspapers and books simply because there is a clear preference for a fully formed video experience that comes ready to play on screen, requiring nothing but our passive attention. That's huge, guys. I mean, they avoid print, newspapers, books. What's going to happen to our libraries? What's going to happen to our children learning to read, and the fact that just touch a book. I mean, I have a Kindle and an iPad, and we have all this technology, but there's something to say for picking up a book or a newspaper or magazine and just reading versus staring at a screen. Well, I know you're still reading, but it's scary. It scares me. I think that, you know, we've become so dependent on our gadgets that it's going to change the way we eventually communicate face to face, how we interact with humans, because they're not screens and they're not gadgets, and we're not, when we look at someone and it's not through a screen, are we going to know how to act? Are we going to know how to behave and what's appropriate and inappropriate? There's a lot to be said for being able to touch your textbook and read a book or a newspaper versus a screen. And it's scary. And the other thing I really want to touch on real quick is page 231. As we discussed in chapter 6, everyday language serves as a prism through which individuals interpret meaningful versus meaningless events. One meaningful event has been the transformation of cultural display rules via the internet. As we progress through our advanced technology, we also use language and emotions to replace long sentences, words, and expressions of our feelings with a quick keyboard symbol. Isn't that crazy? Emoticons, like LMAO or LOL or G2G, or it's crazy how quickly we've changed our language and our communication and how we've adapted so fast. It's going to be interesting what happens in the next 15 to 20 years with our verbal communications that don't have anything to do with like the internet and technology communication. I mean, am I going to walk by my kids and say, G2G, I'm out the door? Like, really? I'm not going to say that to someone. I mean, TTFN, as Tigger always says. Anyway, I thought this was a really interesting chapter. Sorry I rambled. Have a good night. I will see you guys for our final chapter next week. Bye.